Hi guys, we get a lot of questions about how I get my hair and my waves so silky smooth. So I'm gonna let you in on the secret now. We have these 100% satin do-rags. These are good for all hair types and textures, whether you have waves, whether you've got plaits, whether you've got dreads, whether you just want to keep your hair flat. Gents as well. This is for the man them, you know. Don't tell anyone I told ya. If you want to extend that haircut, then throw on your do-rag, man. Tie it at night, you roll around, it flattens the hair. Ladies, you get your nice little do on, you want to look good, you got a big date coming up. Tie it down, boo. You don't need to worry about it messing up when you wake up. You jump up. Come, so you ready for road, man? 100% satin do-rags. Click the link in the bio.
I got my new thing imported. I got the Christian Dior. They wanna look at the foreign. They couldn't even afford it. Look what I did with the bag. Look what I did with the bag. I got the thing in the back, and I ain't taking no chat. I got my new thing imported. I got the Christian Dior. They wanna look at the foreign. They couldn't even afford.
Follow us on Instagram at Express Truth Show.
Unfiltered people, we're back up in the building. Express Truth Show, making Thursdays great again. Shout out to the Patreon crew. People, before we do anything else today, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, people. We're dealing with algorithm business, man. We're off the back of Truth Tellers, episode 3. Nothing but positive feedback, people. If you haven't watched that episode, go back, watch it, leave a comment, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, people. So we're back up in the building, man. Not even on no long thing today. Stephen, what you saying, man?
I say word, but it's free, you know. Express Truth Show to the world, man. Making Thursdays great again, never late again. It's the dynamic duo in full effect. Your favorite podcast, changing the world one Thursday at a time. We're there, man. Before you talk to me nice, G, before you kick it off like a game of FIFA, talk to me nice, G.
Yeah, man, we in the building, man. Chilling, relaxing, getting ready for the upcoming weekend and all of that, man. You already know that, Stephen. I know I sound like a broken record, but it would take something very serious to happen for me to get on here and say I'm not doing good, man. So I'm doing good, man. We're just taking it easy, chilling, unfiltered. And to be honest, Stephen, I know we're not jumping the gun right now, but to be honest, I'm glad that the topic is about what it's about today. And I'll get back to that and explain that in a minute, Stephen. But before we do that, what you saying?
Listen, I can't complain, you know. Things are moving in the right direction, so to speak. So I can't complain. I blow over, you know.
Yeah, man.
I know there was a bit of rain at time of recording, but yo, the rain comes before the sunshine, man. So don't watch nothing, man. The grey clouds will move away.
That's a fact. That's an absolute fact, man. Real talk. So okay, let's just get straight into this thing. So maybe about a year ago, just over a year ago, me and Stephen, we dropped a legendary episode. Now, in this episode, we were discussing, it was something to do with Vibes Cartel, Stephen, because I went back and looked at the episode. Mm-hmm. Now, that episode's not available to the public anymore. Patreons, you can access it, but it's not on the YouTube. But we can put it up, Stephen. Me and you will discuss that off here. But this episode, it was amazing. Let me just put it like that. And why am I saying it was amazing? Because we were highlighting something, Stephen, that a lot of people have been scared to highlight. Now, as you know, Express Truth Show, we don't follow behind nobody. We do what we want to do. We speak about what we want to speak about. We don't hide from no conversation. A lot of men hid from this conversation. Now, you might ask me, like, why are they hiding from this conversation? I believe a lot of them thought it was a divisive conversation. Whereas Express Truth weren't creating no division. we were just speaking about facts, real facts. And what are we talking about? We're talking about Afrobeats and dancehall / reggae. I'm going to put them in one. Now, upon revisiting this show, yeah, for those who are not following us on Instagram, head over there right now and follow us on Instagram. This throwback episode was highlighting the issues with the current state of dancehall, the issues with the, how can I put it, the regression of reggae, and we were just hitting on nothing but valid point after valid point. Now, this episode was clipped up and posted onto a few blogs. Now, if you can still go back to this day and look at those clips, comments were attacking us, real heavy, just attacking us. Division, man are creating division, hating, all kind of talk like that. A lot of other guys who claim to be commentators to this culture were hiding from the talk. Now it's safe for them to come out, Stephen. And you might ask, why is it safe for them to come out? It's safe for them to come out now because Buju Banton went on to Drink Champs and made some comments. Now, these comments have now green-lighted these, I don't even know what word to put on them, but green-lighted these people that are usually scared to start having this conversation. So let Express Truth revisit this thing after listening to these comments. So what are you saying? You got anything to say, Stephen? Or should we run the comments first?
I'm fed up, Mark.
Go true.
Ask me why.
Why?
Because we always do this, bro. Like, it's like, man a nigga damis, man. Like, we're always seeing the future, man. I'm fed up of it. And then we're always heavily criticized, called haters, called this, called that. Then when a public figure speaks on it, says the exact same thing we said a million years ago. You're right, you're a genius. Like, it always happens, man. But to be fair, I've seen, play the comments. All
right. Yeah, man, say no, because I can hear you fed up, Stephen. But you know what? We're going to play these comments and we're going to get into it, man. We're going to get into it. So people, stick around. It's going to be another legendary breakdown. Let's go, man.
Of vultures out there. We have sat and we have watched reggaeton taking reggae music. They fuck with our music so hard and stolen our culture. I'm not knocking nobody, but you don't give us no respect, motherfuckers. Tell me one Afrobeat song that can uplift us. Uplift us, take us from... Kenya is suffering. The young men of Kenya revolt in South Africa is on Sudan, South Sudan, you name it. But which one of these songs can I relate to for a peace of mind to tell me that I'm in the struggle and we are going to be better in the struggle, and even though the struggle is hard, we're going to overcome? Tell me. The greatest musician out of Africa was Fela Kuti, Lucky Dube from South Africa. We had Salif Keita. We have Youssou N'Dour. We have Baba Mal. Now, no one wanted to go beyond the pale of what those brothers was doing. I went to Africa in 1991 and I spent like 3 weeks constantly at the universities under baobab trees, educating people from Ghana, all over the continent about reggae music and dancehall. But I was happy when they came to their senses to realize that music is the bridge that's going to connect us. But what I was disappointed in, they didn't try to connect with Jamaica, the roots. They connect with everyone else except us.
You talking about Afrobeats?
Yes.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
So they connected with everyone else except us. But when we look at what they're doing, their music is not free in Africa. It's fuckery.
I didn't know what
the music need to free Africa. If I am all the way in Jamaica and my country and my people fight for free your continent with word, sound and power, and you have the ability now and all you're singing is fuckery, you don't sing a song to free Africa all now. We need them bringing this to the forefront of your mind, but we desire more from them. You want the money? Go get it. But what's going to be said about you later on and your posterity? You didn't make any impact. So reggae music still stand predominant. It is still the king's music.
Yes.
Tell me one Afrobeat song that can uplift us. Uplift us, take us from Kenya.
I don't even think we need to listen to any more of those comments. Now, people, those are comments made by Buju Banton, a legend coming straight out of Jamaica,
Facts.
being interviewed on Drink Champs, and he's made these comments. So, okay, Stephen, let's just rewind a little piece because I want us to unpack this properly. Now, let's go back to a comment that I made in that episode. Yeah? I said in that episode, Afrobeats has not yet got their Bob Marley. I also said Drake as well. And I'm going to explain why. Now, when I said that Afrobeats has not yet got their Bob Marley, people were like, you can't say that, Burner, or he's broke all these records, Burner, or he's doing all this, Burner, sold out this, he's done that. I said, people, that don't mean nothing until you use the music to uplift the people. And what I mean by that is when the music becomes powerful, a tool where there's a message in it, that's when Afrobeats will have their version of Bob Marley. I'm talking about the current crop. I do understand, man like Lucky Dube, R.I.P., big up, because I remember when he come to Brum, that was crazy. Like, he sold out venues and all that in Brum. So we know that there are historical guys who have done what they need to do to uplift the continent. However, we're talking about this new crop of Afrobeats, and I said they have not yet got their Bob Marley. I was attacked heavy for saying that. What I meant by that is there isn't no one who's singing certain songs to uplift the continent like that. I'm not saying there ain't a few, Stephen, sprinkled around, but they haven't had their No Woman, No Cry. They haven't had their what's that? The Bob Marley tune, man. These you name some, Stephen. You know a bag of them, but
There's too many of them.
The songs of freedom.
Facts.
What else? Get Up, Stand Up. There's a bag of songs. You can go through loads.
A 1,012,000 of them.
There's 1,012,000, as Stephen said, of Bobs that when you listen to them, they got a message. They're against the system. They're uplifting people. And I said Afrobeats haven't got that yet. The part people forget is that I said he's coming. That person is coming. Whether it takes 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, that person will come. And that's when Afrobeats will be an unstoppable force. And I'm talking about unstoppable as in unstoppable. A lot of people turn around and say, yeah, it's unstoppable now. But let's just think about it. Us here in the UK, we've seen bassline come and go. We've seen funky house come and go. We've seen garage come and go. We've seen grime come and go somewhat.
Niche.
It's still neat, but that's baseline niches. You see what I'm saying?
True, yeah.
But we've seen all these genres come and go. Now, Afrobeats haven't got their Bob Marley yet. Now it's taken Buju Banton to come out and say, these men are singing F3. Now, I will say this. Afrobeats is like a happy vibe. Very happy. Very, very happy, lovey, that type of music, what it is so far. Like, the majority of it, it's feel-good music. So I disagree with Buju in saying it's F3. It's feel-good music. Now, let's go into the real conversation. I'm going to get there, Stephen. I'm soon past you the baton. I want to get into this. Now, coming up, Stephen, reggae and bashment. So we're talking about reggae and bashment as one, just like how Buju did. So I know a lot of people say, people don't know what the difference between dancehall and reggae is. Of course we do. Buju put them together. We'll separate them though. But coming up, Stephen, I could be in my car with my dad, in my dad's car, and I could hear Barrington Levy, Everybody Must Work. I could listen to, there's 1,000,001 songs. We can talk about bashment with a message. We can talk about reggae with a message. We can talk about old school reggae with a message. It all had a message. It was powerful. All of us, most men my age and above, and even down to your age, Stephen, know these musics that I'm talking about, because these are the music that raised us. I'm talking about you going to a christening, you'd hear a song like Under the Sycamore Tree coming from Lady Saw. There was balance in Jamaica. There was balance. Jamaicans were the ones who were putting out the powerful messages. Besides the Jamaicans, it was the African Americans, Stephen, man like Public Enemy and people like that from back in those early hip hop days. But as far as Jamaica was known for a certain moral compass. They used to sing all these songs about upliftment. Look at all the culture. Look at all the mans till my mind's gone blank now, man. All the mans, I'm gonna have to get it up, you know, because I don't even want to get the name wrong on this thing. But these are the things that raised us, especially a man like myself. Burning Spear, apologies people, Burning Spear, old Marcus Garvey, old slavery days, all these songs, cultural songs that we could learn from. These were all serious genres of music that we could learn from all these guys. You know what they've got in common, Stephen?
Go on.
They all come from Jamaica.
No.
Now, what happened is this Vibes Cartel came into dancehall, and I know everybody loves Vibes Cartel. I know everyone's talking about selling a kidney to go to the concert, but we got to keep it truthful right here. Slackness was always in dancehall. Always. It got a bit heavier, but at one point it just went crazy to where even mans like Sizzler, who in one song would sing Black Woman and Child, and in the next song would sing Pum 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 Pum. As a Rasta, them are the kind of things you'd hear. Like, you'd be like, yo, these men are very contradicting these men are. So what happened was, that's what opened the door to the all-out slackness in dancehall, to the point where Cartel come in. When he come in, it's almost like dancehall lost its identity, Stephen. And the reason it lost its identity, because Vibes Cartel was influenced by the African Americans, guys like Lil Wayne, guys like Wiz Khalifa, them kind of dudes that were just full of tattoo, that were just talking madness on every song. Don't get it twisted, these men are very talented, but they were breaking the fourth wall and saying things that dancehall never used to endorse, reggae never used to endorse. I grew up in this thing, sounds, all of that. Hip hop only became my number one genre as an adult. As a youth, I was in them sound clashes. I've been to sound clash in New York. I was in all them sound clashes in Brum, them sound clashes in London. Man was into sound heavy. Cartel came in. Once Cartel come in, the man's influenced by the African Americans. You'd be in a dance back in the day, Stephen. When you're in the dance, Stephen, all you'd hear is all una ball put up on the one. Them days I'm talking. Now, my man brought in them things are normal. Them things are spoken about openly.
Every time my cocky get. Hey.
Okay. So when them things came in, it broke down that barrier in dancehall, that invisible barrier where certain things didn't run. Now, that it was still good. There was still a balance, but what had happened was Cartel influenced the generation. So when you hear him saying on these interviews, yo, all these man are my youths, he's talking facts. Because all them man came in and started singing about nothing but, as Buju said, Efri, the dancehall mans, and we're going to break down the whole picture on this episode. They started to just sing about Efri. Now, all these Italians, Japanese, English people, all these people that have come, that have known our moral compass coming from Jamaica, that we're listening to the Barrington Levy's, we're listening to the Beanie Mans, we're listening to the Bounties, where these men had songs that went against the grain, but they had bare songs that was uplifting. Listen to a man like Bounty Killer, look into my eyes. You know how much uplifting songs my man made back in them days. What the next generation did is they got rid of all of that and just started talking about slackness and gal's hole and gal forget F and gal just to suck hood and all this and all that. And once they brought that in, Stephen, dancehall became unappealing to that wider audience. Where's all the, let's talk about reggae then. Where's all the, what's today's version of Sanchez? What's today's version of Luciano? What's today's version of Berry's Hammond? Stephen, come through. I got so much to say. Come through. We ain't even touched the Afrobeats yet. Come
What's the
through.
modern thing? I don't know. It's them, innit? You have to spin the block on them, man. There ain't no modern interpretation of these, man.
Experience, because half of them, 90% of them have almost no real life experiences that they can understand, which is why you hear most of Nigerian music, or I would say African music. I don't even know what to say. Afrobeats, as people call it. It's mostly about nothing. Literally nothing. There's no substance to it. Like nobody's talking about anything. It's just a great time. It's an amazing time. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, life is not an amazing time. Do you know what I mean? No matter how nice you want of a time you're having now, or you had at some point, or you plan to have, you're still going to face life. And
if I'm lying.
Exactly. So it's like, for me, I feel like music should be that. Music should be the essence of the artist. You understand? The artist is a person. Like me speaking for myself, the artist.
Proper Stephen, that clip.
Just in case you missed it. What I feel like, I watched the interview for the most part. I got a little bit left, but I've seen all the relevant bits we're going to cover in terms of Buju talking on reggae / dancehall / Afrobeats. And I know Shadeborough, because you know they're just shit stirrers, they posted it, Shade Room posted it, and a lot of people in the comments clearly have selective hearing, because it's all comments like this, Mark. Oh, why would Africa say thanks to Jamaica? It should be the other way around. Oh, Afrobeats has got nothing to do. If you really listen and try to overstand, because the man wasn't saying, oh, you need to thank us. He was saying a period where Africa was heavily, still is, but heavily mistreated. So it wasn't cool to go there. It wasn't built up like how it is in certain countries, at least. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't cool to be African. Just call a spade, because I still remember those days when everyone would pretend to be Jamaican or from somewhere else in the Caribbean. It wasn't cool to be African. It was only certain reggae artists for real who you would hear championing for the freedom of Africa.
Thanks.
Like Buju said, through what was it? Words, music, and power. Or words, music, and sound. I don't want to misquote it, but that's what he's referring to. He's not saying, oh, you owe Afrobeats to us. He's saying, yeah, it's good to see you've got a sound. It's good to see you doing this. But don't forget when it was us championing the thing. Now you've got your own sound. You should carry that on. You should carry that legacy forward. That's what he's trying to say. But I found this because people are going to be like, nah, because people were saying, clearly he hasn't listened to this. All right. Here's 10 powerful Burna Boy songs that address socio-political issues, yeah? Number 1, Freedom Freestyle, 2011. Number 2, My Cry, 2013. Soak, 2015. Dangote, or Dangote, however you pronounce that, 2019. Collateral Damage, 2019. Another Story, 2019. Different, 2019. 2010-20, which is 2020. Monsters You Made, which is 2020. Whiskey, 2022. So apparently those are 10 songs of Burna's who, when he's addressing social political issues, yeah? So I'm being fair. But the man said it himself. He's saying Afrobeats, apologies, is about nothing. He's saying it's just feel-good music, which isn't really, if you ask me, that's not it's not him discrediting the genre, it's just explaining what it is. And from what I've heard of it, I'll agree, because I'll be honest, like I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's why I had to Google that, Mark, because I'll be real, I said it all the time, I don't listen to Afrobeats. It's not my cup of tea. And people are gonna be like, oh, because man's Jamaican. It's nothing to do with it, I just don't like it. Just like I don't listen to opera, innit? Everyone has their own preference.
That's your preference, yeah.
So it is what it is. So I had to Google those songs. So he's got those 10 tunes where he's talking about real issues. So I would assume Buju himself doesn't really listen to it. So I doubt he would also know about those 10 songs. And there might be other artists with 10 songs or 15 songs or 20 songs. But what you have to realize, I know it's becoming a global phenomenon now, but you have to realize everyone everywhere doesn't listen or take in or consume everything. Like, you can go to places on earth, and I don't mean like, oh, corners, small corners, like big cities, big countries. They won't know who Drake is. I think it was it in France or somewhere? I believe it was somewhere in Europe. They were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go see Drake. Have you ever heard of Drake? And they were like, who's Drake? You know, just because something's super popular doesn't mean it's everyone's cup of tea. This is why I always talk about how representation matters for us. So whether it's media, entertainment, music, movies, television, series, whatever it is, because a lot of the time there's places where people don't come out of their bubble, they don't come out of their shell, they don't have interracial interactions. That's what I'll call it, Mark. So they might all be Caucasian, for example, and their whole circle's Caucasian, their neighbors, the whole town, everyone they come into direct contact with might be the same color as them and look like them and represent what they represent. So when they look at these things, or when they see other races and they see representations of other races, it might be from a small little sample. So it could just be like literally watching a video on YouTube, watching a movie, watching a series on Netflix. So if all they see is passa, nonsense, you're automatically going to be thinking, oh my gosh, they say art imitates life, so some of this must be based in fact. These people are crazy. And if you've never had any interracial interaction to meet someone of said race, these opinions are going to get formed and never changed. Unfortunately, like they say, some stereotypes are true because they came from somewhere. I know a lot of them came from places of racism, but two things can be true at the same time. So it can come from a place of racism and still have some small droplets of truth within it.
Facts.
But okay, go true, man. Just I get warm, you get me?
Yeah, man. We got a lot to say. What had happened, Stephen? Because I'm gonna build straight to the I'm building up to the Afrobeats conversation.
Okay.
What had happened? I'm still on how Jamaica lost its identity.
Oh, true.
The moral compass. What a lot of people don't understand, is that the popularity of Jamaica isn't just about the skin out party culture. It's not just about that, Stephen. Mm-hmm. There's a whole another side to the island that has influenced those who became artists. I'm talking about Marcus Garvey, man like that, people that grew with us, that had a strong moral compass. A lot of the morals that are instilled in you, Stephen, that come from your Jamaican mother and father, has came from the island. A lot of the morals that are instilled in me has came from the elders of the island. Like when we look at a lot of those Instagram skits where guys are making jokes about like how their mom would screw about them taking food out of the pot and doing all of this, those are all things that we grew up with in one way or another. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the moral compass from Jamaica, a lot of the morals disappeared with the regression of the music. So as the slackness grew and grew and grew, and just before anyone comes in the comments, oh, slackness was always in bashment. Yes, it was, but it went from like light slackness to full retard business, to full, man, just look at Gage, talking raw, just, yo, push my thing.
Your throat, son.
Now,
in your throat, yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Them kind of songs became like really popular, and then it started to become like, yo, I can't even play this in the car. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even play this. You see what I mean? And then people will say, oh, well, go to the artists that don't sing like that. People, when you get a Bashment mix CD, yeah, it's mixed with all the different cuts. Now, what I'm saying is, Bashment got to a place where slackness and crime and gangsterism took up the forefront of the music. What that did is it drove away a lot of the Europeans and the people who were inspired by our culture historically. I remember one time, you know, a man gave me about 5 different MP3 CD discs, you know, Stephen, and it had all the old school culture from the 80s right up to like the late 90s, early 2000s. And that was like a real great collection of the culture of music coming from Jamaica. It was damn near impossible not to be inspired or to be uplifted by the music that was coming out of that island. There was always slackness, but it was like 10%, 5%. What happened is the slackness and the gangsterism, let's keep on dancehall for a minute, became the number one topics. Man's just lost all sense of moral compass. There were no morals at all. It was just about suck wood, do this, ram gal with this.
Don't forget, then it went to scamming for a while, and then it's spinning back to slackness.
Yeah, it went to scamming for a bit. The slackness was heavy. Then
Chop,
it was
chop the line, chop.
yeah, man, bag of that. Then bad man talk. Yo, if a man ramps, it's dead. You ought to do this. I got the big matic banana clip where it.
So much drill inspiration, man.
Drill influenced that, but I'm talking, this is over a while it got to this. Now what happened was people just lost interest. Not only people from a lot of people from the diaspora, but other communities like that Italian man that used to be obsessed with Bashment is no longer obsessed with Bashment. That Japanese crew that used to be overly infatuated with Jamaican culture is no longer infatuated with Jamaican culture. It went the way that hip hop went. Now, once that happened, Stephen, the lane was open because the African Americans are producing garbage. Let's keep it real. And the Jamaicans fell and were producing garbage. So in the rap world, UK rap is miles ahead of USA rap right now. A million miles. UK rap is actually the best rap in the world right now. And it's mad that I'm mad proud of it. But it's crazy that I'm even saying that because it took us less than 20 years to get here to where we're producing the best rap music. US rap is whack on all levels. It's absolute garbage. It's garbage. That's why their females ain't selling no units. They're not doing nothing because the music's rubbish and they've gone against every single rule in the book. They've just gone full retard now. But that's another conversation for another day. Let's get back to reggae. At one point, reggae was on a Sunday. You throw your reggae on.
Clean your house.
Yo, clean your house. The pot's bubbling. It's nothing but upliftment. It's nothing but powerful talk. It's nothing but that. That started to die down. Now, the reggae that's being produced, I'm being real with you, it's like hippies. It's like hippie kind of vibe. It's not the reggae that we've came from. Let's keep it real. No, let's really have the conversation. The reggae that's coming out now, I'm asking you, a child of the island, Stephen, who's very, very tapped in, please tell me the closest thing to Luciano in 2024. Please.
The closest thing?
Yeah.
Luciano.
There you go. Now, I'm not saying that we ain't got a Chronics or a Coffee, but I'm talking about where is the scene? There is no scene. So when Buju makes these comments, it can definitely come across like he's bitter. Because this is how I work, you know, Stephen. I'm cleaning up my house before I'm coming to clean yours. Bashment is every, and it's been every for years. It's drove away beer, man. Even some of my big man brethren that have grown listening to, they can't even listen to it anymore. That's how far it's fallen. And when you look at one of these brothers, yeah, it's some bleach out face man who, you know what I mean? Man ain't got nothing in common with a brother like that who hates himself enough to bleach out his skin and do it. And I get it happens, but a man's bleach out, just be a slackness, be a every talk. That ain't what we come from. That ain't us. That is not the culture I grew up with. That's not the culture I know. And this is what I'm trying to say. Those people took the forefront and they killed the thing that God blessed the island with. God blessed the island with dancehall and reggae. God blessed the island with that. And these men ruined it. And they ruined it, Stephen. And what happened is there was no more ice in the change, you know. There was no more happiness coming from the island. It started to become where you were listening and you're like, yo, I don't want to listen to a man talking about warring. I don't want to listen to no girl talking about how she's riding off the man's hood head and doing this. I'm not saying that them things weren't about before, but we had a choice. We had a plethora of different artists to choose from, and we had a plethora of different styles of bashment. It just became all mini cartels. Some are gangsters, some are scammers, some have mashed the most gal in the world. That killed the music. And then what happened is the Africans were right on time with Afrobeats. They came in, yeah. All of that Joanna, Joe. Some man's driving he's like, yo, what's this? It sounds happy. The youths can listen to it. So what happened? The wider public started to take to it. Now, Buju is right, and Burna Boy's right. The music itself, the Afrobeats, is currently about nothing. But this wave of Afrobeats is in its infancy. It's in its infancy. Their Bob Marley is on its way. Their Bob Marley could be 16 right now, writing songs. Their Bob Marley is on its way. Somebody will come. Look, when we was in Africa, Stephen, and we linked Sparkling Black. Now, if you think about it, he's an African artist who's singing about uplift, man, and this, that, and building up Africa and stuff. Now, he hasn't got signed or gotten taken off like that. But eventually, one of a man like that who's coming from a popular part of Africa will have a strong message that will break even the barriers of the Caribbean. And when that happens, that's when you'll see Buju definitely is right, but he's wrong at the same time. They're still in their infancy. And the Jamaicans...
I don't...
Come true.
I don't know. Sorry.
Now,
sorry to interject. I don't know if it's going to happen, you know. Not like, and when I say that, I mean, like, I don't know if it's going to happen within Afrobeat. Maybe they'll create a new genre, because I hear what you're saying about the Bob Marley comparison. But who says that they even want to hear that in Afrobeats? Because if the main man himself, or one of the main mans himself, has said the music is about nothing, it's feel good upliftment music. Who says it wants? Who said that the fans of it want to feel pulled down and drawn down with a relevant but heavy message? So I don't know if it will fit in that lane. Maybe a new genre will spring off, just like you have dancehall and reggae.
But remember though, Stephen, facts, you're right. And what I'm saying is, if you think about it, if you think about a Bob Marley, who would have sung, get up, stand up for your rights. Now, if you hear that song, when it comes on, when it hits, and you start listening, a man's talking about upliftment, but he's made it sound good, which is a double talent. So the man's bringing his powerful message. Even Redemption song, like when you listen to these music, like these are powerful songs, and that's what the island produces. Like Buju's right. There's songs that have came from Jamaica where you can remember that time in your youth, and this is not a conversation about playlist, man. You can revisit that time in your youth. You can go back to that moment. I remember my first day at school in Erdington. In the car, we were playing Everybody Must Work. That's what was playing in the car, Stephen. So every time I hear that song now, it brings me back to that exact same moment. That's how powerful not only dancehall, but reggae was as well. Remember, dancehall and reggae are brother and sister. A lot of the artists work together. There's a lot of men that can do cultural songs and do dancehall songs. But that's how powerful the island was. Once the island lost its identity, this was bound to happen.
Of course.
Now, Afrobeats have came in. Yes, right now it's all party, happy, gal, all of that stuff. There are a few. I'm not like you said, Stephen. You don't listen to it. I have it casually, but I couldn't tell you a full playlist or if Beer Man are making uplifting songs. But one thing I can tell you is, you didn't need to be into reggae. You knew that the songs were powerful and uplifting. You didn't need to be into rap in its early days, but you knew that the songs were uplifting and powerful. Now, Afrobeats has come in. They've filled a worldly void that the African Americans gave up and that the Caribbean gave up. We gave up that happy void. We gave up that space of producing music to make people smile. We gave up that and we replaced it with a mini version of rap. That's what we did. We replaced the music with a mini version of rap. The reggae artists, to me, they've taken the direction more of like a European style. You know, like when you hear like Gentlemen and guys like that, they've gone that way. These guys don't even create, there's not even a solid reggae scene right now. There's not even a current reggae crop that you can name 5 man and say, yo, these man here. If you look at it, it's people that are not even raised on the island and all them kind of things. If you think about it, like Lauryn Hill's son, 30 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. I'm not saying I'm happy for his success, but that wouldn't have happened where an American would have the biggest song in Jamaica. It just wouldn't, even from the UK, it just wouldn't have happened. It just wouldn't have happened. But now it's lost its identity. A lot of people are scared to admit it, but reggae has lost its identity. Dancehall has lost its identity. And Afrobeats is now the leading music, black music on planet Earth. And if they mess around with it, the same will happen to them. But if they move in the right direction, Stephen, you got to think about it. They've got more people. So they've got a bigger audience.
100%.
Bigger scene, way more countries. Just look at the movement in South Africa right now. Imagine you take that and put it on a global level.
Yeah, what's the South? Is it Ampino in South Africa?
Yeah, it's called Ampino, yeah. It's massive. Sometimes I just put it on and you just see all them men partying and there's a DJ, there's all 100 men.
It's nothing but, this is what I'm saying. It's burners, right? Like I'm not trying to knock the genre. It's nothing but feel good, happy vibes music, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like, I don't know why, for some reason, there's a percentage of the people, you know, when you say that, or well, even before, but even when Burner said it, they'll get upset, and it's like, why? It's not an insult, it's the truth. So you want to hear nothing but, it was 10 of us in a 2-bedroom house. You want to hear all of that all the time.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just want some feel good music, but you just like you have the offshoot of Ampino from Afrobeats. You know, we're talking about the Bob Marley figure and the positivity and the music with messages. I feel like it'll be that kind of situation when someone comes. I don't know if I could be mistaken, but I don't know if it'll be directly Afrobeats. Might be an offshoot of Afrobeats.
Yeah. It could be an offshoot, just like how you have all these offshoots of rap. But it definitely, what I do know is it's definitely on its way, because the continent has suffered too much oppression and too much pain for that person not to be out there. So that's why I'm certain of it, that person will come and will get their popularity, and that's when the baton will officially pass. And these men can't say nothing. Jamaica played around with the music for too long. They played around with the music for way too long. And sometimes when I look back at it myself, I'm like, damn, look at what the music became from your, like just think about what it was. Like, just think about what it was, even through a dancehall lens. Just think about what Yard meant to this globe. All of a sudden now, it's completely changed, and that's because Yard allowed it to change by not innovating, by not growing with the world, by not being original, which is what carried Jamaica for how long? For how long? From the 80s, 90s, 2000s, it was original. It was original styles. Even the thing with the obsession with the Clarks and all of that, that was that was man who that was Jamaicans who adopted a style and made it popular globally. You see what I'm saying? That has gone. Too much man are trying to fit in with the rap crowd. Too much man were trying to rap on rap beats and do all of that, and they let it go. Now the Afrobeats is here. It's here to stay, people. And the facts are this is not division topics or nothing, but all you have to do is look at when Cartel was coming out and look how much people were in the comments talking about, yeah, it's the end of Afrobeats and all that. And I was telling people, yo, a 48-year-old man can't end a genre. Yard would need 5 to 10 crop of new artists that are original and that are doing their own thing with tunnel vision, that are cut from the old school cloth. That's when Yard would get it back. But that ain't gonna happen, Stephen.
But no, you're right, Mark. But the thing is, the mentality is wrong from the jump anyway, because I don't know why it's a division thing anyway.
Facts, we should be able to have these convos without that.
Do you ever hear pop and rock and roll are in beef?
There you go.
Now this is why we're a joke, man. We're a laughing stock to ourselves and to the world, because imagine, man, you can't have so what's the crime here? I can't have a Yard playlist and an Afrobeats playlist on my phone. That's breaking the law.
It's not that, Stephen. What it is one crowd, like Fano said, one crowd remembers what was. So you got to think that the small, little, tiny island of Jamaica. You go to Africa, man is speaking in Patwa, You go there, man, is singing in Patwa, emulating this island. That has changed now. That has changed. And the reason that changed is because man abandoned what it was that got them there. Yes, slackness played a part. Yes, bad man business played a part. But it should have never became the dominant topics. Never. And now it's lost its identity, and Afrobeats just came in, and man like Buju and that, who laid a foundation for the younger guys, are now living to see the day that their thing is not as influential as it once was. It's only influential if there are youth who are coming through that are influential. Even if you check it out, a lot of the latest dancehall hits, yeah, they're using old school hip hop rhythms, the Fiesta remix. What's that about when the Beretta jam? That's some old school hip hop beat as well.
See it there?
Oh, this is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying dancehall used to do that before, but they also used to innovate, make their own beats, make their own style.
Yeah,
rap was copying it.
Military rhythm and all that.
Yeah,
They have all the different rhythms, man.
Rap used to take a lot of inspiration. You only have to look at someone like Foxy Brown, Little Kim. Even look at the biggest of them all, Jay-Z, who referenced Mavado and stuff in his tracks, because that's how influential Jamaica was. Now that's changing, and it's changing because Jamaica lost its identity. And I seen this coming from back then, but when we tried to talk about it, oh, you're causing division. No, we've seen it change. We've seen this music change.
Exactly.
We've seen this music. We've seen how these men have ruined it. Sometimes I say to you, Stephen, just out the blue, like, I can't believe these men ruined the music like this, to the point where now, if you really check it, like, yeah, the African music, it's happy, good time, good vibes. And that's why they've came in and they've filled a void. That's why UK hip hop's been able to come in. There's genuine guys now, even like a lot of the American podcasters and stuff, that are more intrigued with UK rap, because USA rap, Stephen, got to a point where it just got too silly, it just got too violent, too stupid. And I'm not saying UK don't have an element of that, but you've still got an artist like Dave, you see what I'm saying, who spit in certain things, and the talent's there. It's talent. A lot of it's talent. Don't get it twisted. There's a bag of man that are just not talented, but when you really check it, it's talented rappers. No matter what city we're coming from, whether you're from Brum, London, Manchester, Liverpool, these spitters from UK are talent. They're actually rappers. These men in the States, Stephen, it got to the point, yeah. These men in the States, it was just, mans weren't even trying to rap. Let's just keep it real. I'm a man, who's grown up on USA rap, Man like Jada Kiss, Styles. I could name a load. My mind's just blank right now. But talent, where a man's actually talented at rapping. USA just became, from you got a few followers, a man will throw a chain over, throw a man in front of a luxury whip. And then man would just say, and then when I listen to some of these man, it's trash. Like it, and then I think to myself, yo, you man had a tool as well. That's why when these guys are arguing with me online, I'm like, what are you arguing about? You like had a tool that you let go. You had a tool to uplift your community through the music. Now some people will say, it's the executives that come in and did it. Come on, man, let's take some accountability, man. Let's take some accountability. You, man, mashed up your own music to where rap, check it, even like I said, the girls, none of them are selling no units because there's nothing in it that is innovating. There's nothing in it.
Ice went triple cardboard, innit?
Yeah, man, Ice every minute twerking. That's all they can do every minute. All they can rap about is their front. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? People are going to lock off because, don't get it twisted, a man definitely can listen to that. There is definitely a place for that. But every song, every video, you're naked.
Mark, there was a
come true, man. Come true.
There was a clip going viral. Speaking of Ice Spice, briefly.
Yeah,
I think she went on Kai's stream again, and he was like, freestyle." She just started twerking.
I seen it.
Lord help us. But even if you're looking in the dancehall reggae genre, all right, take Cartel for example. He just did 13, yeah, and I know he was still releasing while he was incarcerated. But Mark, would you not say a man being away for 13 years is a big gap? Meaning like there's space for someone to slide in and kind of do their thing. But no one really slid in, because you remember when he first went in, everyone was talking about Alkaline. Alkaline never done nothing.
Nothing.
I know you got mans like Massacre. You got mans who are doing their thing. You got mans like Massacre. You got other mans doing their thing right now. But I wouldn't equate. This is just me. I wouldn't equate you. Even in his absence, I don't think you could equate any of them to Cartel.
You couldn't, and that because there was the reason for that, Stephen, is because they were trying to be Cartel. They were too busy. Jamaicans, yeah. Jamaica is usually the land of originality, where a man's got his style. Look at an artist like Zebra. I'm going in old school. Look at an artist like Zebra, who had his own style, his own way of doing things. There's a bag of mans I could name because they were original and people gravitated towards them. But what happened is people started looking at a man like Cartel and saying, my man's successful.
The man they're unfair,
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You remember him? People started looking at Cartel and saying, my man's successful. I want to be like him. Let me copy his style. Let me go even crazier than him. Man's put in them big black eye. Remember when he tried to say he tattooed his eyelids? It's all gimmick. That's not what Bashment was about. That's not what dancehall went cut from that cloth. That's a new age hip hop cloth. What them man got influenced by, and they lost the genre. So is Buju talking truth? Yes, but at the same time, talk about your house too. Talk about what happened in your house, because your house mashed up as well, and your house spoke every. for years. For years. For me, Stephen, even someone like Sentia, she couldn't even lace Lady Soul's boots. People like Tanya Stevens, Lady Soul, that was real. That Sentia is trying to rap and sound like how them Nikki Lato talking about. That's how she's trying to. You're Jamaican. Then even if you check it, you look at someone like Spice, she's too infatuated with the USA culture. Jamaica was a place that had its own identity and it lost it, man. It lost its own identity, and that's how Afrobeats came in, and that's what it is now. Now, if they refuse to evolve, their thing would dead out as well. Their thing, especially if it's true how Burner and them man are treating, man, and going on like they're the biggest thing since MJ and all of that. Like, if they don't evolve, their thing can dead out too. I tell this to any man, no matter what genre it is, whether you do it, we can even take it to a ground level thing, even with podcasting. Too much man are too busy trying to keep up with what the trends are. Oh, them man are making money from doing that. Oh, them man look like they're popping from doing that. You know how much times I've heard, I said this on the stream, but I'll say it again. You know how much times I've heard Stephen, man say, yeah, man, I see all these podcasts out here, but I'm going to do my thing. Watch when I do my thing. My thing is going to be different, you know. They come out, drop a few episodes, and they realize, damn, this thing ain't easy, and they fall off. They fall off. Same with, it can be for combat sports. Man think it looks easy, but when you go in to do it, it's hard, and you can't stay the course. And that's the same with music, Stephen. It's the exact same with music. A lot of these artists, yeah, even like, I know I always mention this girl, and it's probably looking like I'm only using her as a reference, but even like Sexy Red, yeah, it's like they're posting her like, yeah, man, she's pretending to do some singing thing, and it's like a mockery. And I'm looking at it, Stephen, and I'm like, don't these men realize that they're ruining their own music? Because you ain't gonna have no classics in 10 years. Because you're playing around. There's not no originality no more. There's not no innovators no more. There's not no
instant rice, man.
Yeah, it's just, yo, what can work? Twerk. All these girls, man, ain't even seeing it. They're doing these things on purpose to ruin the image of these women, and they don't realize that them girl are tools. They're using the ones who don't care, who are promoting being a baby mother, who are promoting promiscuous behavior, who are promoting STDs, who are promoting things.
Get the bag, sis.
It's gone full retard, man. Stephen, what are you saying?
Get the bag, sis. The promotion, the pushing, all of that. If a man can't do this for you, then I can definitely see why the explosion of Afrobeats is doing what it's doing. Because Jamaica, we'll be saying, Yard's lost the plot. States have lost the plot. UK's in their own lane, but if you don't listen to it, you don't listen to it. People need some upliftment right now, man. The world's in a bit of a clusterfuck. The world's in a blender right now. Cost of living crisis. I know it don't affect everywhere, but it's affecting a lot of the Western countries at least. Some people don't know where their next meal's coming from tomorrow. Some people are having to choose. Luckily, it's not the winter yet, because some people are gonna have to choose between yamming or heating the house.
Facts.
So when you do get the odd moment of escape, Mark, do you want to listen to, yo, I had to walk 50 miles in the snow and I had to hustle all day to make $25? Or you want to hear just, yeah. You want to just listen to something that brings a smile to your face.
Exactly. And this is what people are forgetting.
What did people say? Read the room?
Yeah. We're in a mad time in humanity right now. Mad time. Upliftment is needed. Wow. Jamaica uplifted the mans in the 80s. Look at the 90s era of dancehall reggae. Look at that era. You know how much people would have been lifted out of dark places during that era? You know how much influence.
When me hold out tonight, I ain't gonna do all of the things. So you're like,
listen, them songs molded a nation. Them songs, there was upliftment. Go back and listen to Under the Sycamore Tree and what she's saying. Now she did speak slackness, but listen what she's saying to the young girls during that time. Now these women are pushing them to do them things. And I'm saying that was something. If you look at some of these like people who's like their granddad was Jamaican, you know, like their granddad had Jamaican in him. I'm not talking about the ones who integrated, yeah.
Yes.
Them folks there only take the negative from our culture, which is why to me, I always said a man like M.R. to me, I said he's a disrespectful brother. And what I mean by that is, and I understand the rebuttal that will come as well. But what I meant by that is, if I start doing some sort of Asian or Mexican music, I'm not just going to pop out with the samba hat and drinking sangria and having a maracas and just taking the stereotypical parts of the culture. My man's just talking about ramming girl with wood and getting his hood socked off. And you got to remember when you man are listening to, he's talking about black girl. And I'm saying, yo, he's just taking the ignorant parts of the culture. And this is what I'm saying. The culture is way bigger than that. Way bigger than that. We have most of the morals. I'm not talking about the bashment crowd, that new crowd, or I'm talking about, look at some of the morals that was instilled in our grandparents, that they gave to our parents. Look at some of the morals. I know not every man, but I'm talking about mans like me and you, Stephen, most of the culture that we grown with. Like, you know, it's none of these people reference that. They don't reference them things. Like even a man like Safari, it's always about dancing and slackness and all of that. What about the things, the morals that was instilled in us? What about them things? Why don't man speak about that? And that is why now you've lost it. That's why. And that's why these men are looking bitter in these interviews, because they've lost it. They've lost it. You gave it up. You gave it up. You gave it away. You had it. You were the bashment and reggae. Man didn't even have to leave yard. Matter of fact, you had to be in yard to pop. Imagine that. Imagine that. Even when the internet was out, a man had to be in yard. You had to be there. You had to be on the island and making your music there for it to be taken the way it was supposed to be taken. Man's killed all of that with slackness, with violence. And I'm not saying there ain't a part in it that belongs, but they put that as the forefront. They lost all the morals. Even when you look at Cartel now, what everyone's raving about, man's bleach out. No disrespect, because my man's a lyrical genius, and he was like, he took his style from the rappers, and I bet he didn't even realize how influential it would be. But when you look at it, there's no influence coming from yard again. A man who's bleach out, who's checking a Turkish girl, there's no influence coming from yard again. I'm sorry, folks. There isn't. There's no influence coming from yard again. And that's the reason why, because it lost its identity. Will it come back? I don't know. Maybe not in our lifetime. But all them days of, yeah, man, this tune and we got the summer is all gone. Gone. And it ain't coming back because the man took the blessing that God gave them and ruined it. You think your music's gonna, there's no longevity. All them same Japanese that used to love bashment now have changed up and are into something. They're doing their own thing. I love sushi. Remember that song when it went viral? Because they're doing their own thing now. You go France and all that. Before, they'd all be running down American hip hop, this, that. They got their own thing. Italian.
Well, because everyone was doing drill for a bit, but I think they all just started doing their own rap now.
Yeah, man. And that's it, man. That's come true, Stephen. That's all I gotta say. I mean, you man lost it. And now you my artist, a legend like Buju. It's F3. I mean, it's better than what was coming out of yard. Okay.
Yeah, it's better than what. Yeah. It's pot calling the kettle black, but I think in his defense, I think he just means like what. But it's almost him and Burn almost saying the same thing. Like there's no real content in the music. Like it's all surface level, which isn't wrong, which isn't an issue, man. There's a place for that. There's a place for everything, but you can't overdo anyone of anything, I believe, especially when it's slackness.
Yeah, man.
Well, you're definitely right, Mark. Like we need to turn up rather than worrying about the rest of the world. Jamaica should focus on Jamaica.
Yeah, man. I remember one song back in the day from Al Campbell called "Don't Cry," and all these kind of. Google that song. Go onto YouTube and type in Al Campbell Don't Cry. These are the kind of songs when we grew up, we were listening to these songs. We were listening to these songs.
Facts.
And then man's just ruined it. And that's all I gotta say, people. You saying, Stephen?
I'm saying it's the greatest show on earth, man. The Express Truth Show. Dynamic duo back in full effect. Always unbiased, unapologetic, and always unfiltered.
That's a fact. And you notice, people, it never took Buju to come out and speak for us to talk. Even though man's are hating and doing all this, we're hating on nothing. But even through all of that, we still spoke about it, man. So that's it. People, it's unfiltered. It's the Express Truth Show. Making Thursdays great again. We're out of here, people.
Hi guys. We get a lot of questions about how I get my hair, my wave so silky smooth. So I'm gonna let you in on the secret now. We have these 100% satin do-rags. These are good for all hair types and textures. Whether you have waves, whether you've got plaits, whether you've got dreads, whether you just want to keep your hair flat. Gents as well. This is for the man, them, you know. Don't tell anyone I told ya. If you want to extend that haircut, then throw on your do-rag, man. Tie it at night, you roll around, it flattens the hair. Ladies, you get your nice little do on, you want to look good, you got a big date coming up. Tie it down, boo. You don't need to worry about it messing up when you wake up. You jump up. Come, so you ready for road, man? 100% satin do-rags. Click the link in the bio.